Carrying more than 8 lakh passengers in a day, Namma Metro has emerged as a major transportation mode in Bengaluru. Although it is the second largest metro system in India with a network of around 75 kilometers, construction of more metro lines in Bengaluru is the need of the hour. About 100 kilometers of metro lines are under construction in Bengaluru as part of Namma Metro's Phase-2 network, and another 80 kilometers is planned to be constructed as a part of Namma Metro's Phase-3. With the construction of all these lines, Namma Metro will become a huge network transporting millions of citizens in a day. In this video, we will talk about the current status and latest updates of each of the Namma Metro lines. The first update pertains to the Green Line. The 3.14 km long northern extension of the line between Nagasandra and Madavara was operationalized on November 7, 2024. This extension, built at a cost of 1,168 crore rupees, is expected to benefit 44,000 passengers. While bids for the construction of the stretch were invited in October 2016 and the contract was awarded in February 2017 to Simplex Infrastructures Limited with a 27-month deadline, or by mid-2019, it got very delayed due to several challenges. These challenges include land acquisition issues with the National Highways Authority of India at the Bangalore International Exhibition Centre, delays in approval from the Nandi Infrastructure Corridor Enterprise Limited for the Metro Viaduct crossing over the Nice Road, financial difficulties faced by the contractor Simplex Infrastructures Limited, and the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent lockdown. The stretch's viaduct works were completed in August 2023 and trial runs on the stretch began in August 2024. The Commissioner of Metro Rail Safety along with his team inspected the stretch on October 3, 2024 and gave their approval to open this section just one day after the inspection on October 4, 2024. BMRCL, being a joint venture of the Government of Karnataka and the Government of India, needed approval from Karnataka's Urban Development Department and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs at the union level to commence operations on the line. On October 18, Karnataka's Urban Development Department wrote to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs for permission to operationalize the line, which came after 3 weeks on November 5. People criticized the time that the government took in permitting operations to begin on the line, despite receiving approval from the CMRS. On November 4, a Monday morning after a long Diwali weekend, the Nagasandra Metro Station saw a huge rush of passengers, standing in 1 kilometer long queues outside the metro station. This could have been avoided if the Madavara Metro extension had been opened on time. Well, after the opening of the line on November 7, commuters expressed their relief and satisfaction. The new extension has 3 stations at Manjunatha Nagara, Chikkabidrakkallu and Madavara. It has provided connectivity to large residential complexes and nearby towns in the area, and it provides direct connectivity to the Bangalore International Exhibition Centre, a major centre for national and international events in Karnataka. The Yellow Line is an under construction 18.82 km long line that will run between Rashtriya Vidyalaya Road in the south and Nagasandra in the southeast. It will have 16 metro stations. Although all civil and system works have been completed, the technical sanction of the Railway Board with respect to traction has been received, and the signalling system and rolling stock are in advanced stages. Commercial operations on the line haven't begun for the want of trains. In December 2019, the CRRC Nanjing Fusain Corporation Limited, being the lowest bidder, was awarded the contract to supply coaches for the yellow, green and purple lines to the BMRCL with an expected delivery time of 173 weeks. Delays started arising with the border issue of India and China in June 2020. As a result, CRRC faced challenges in identifying a local manufacturer to partner with to meet the 75% local production requirement. The COVID-19 pandemic and trade restrictions with China further delayed the manufacturing of coaches. BMRCL was on the verge of terminating this high-value contract when CRRC signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Titagarh Rail Systems Limited or TRSL to supply coaches for Namma Metro. After the CRRC Titagarh partnership, it was decided that out of the 36 trains to be supplied as a part of the contract, 2 prototype trains would be shipped from China and the remaining 34 trains would arrive from Titagarh wagons. The first train from CRRC arrived at the Hebbal depot in February 2024 and trial runs began in March 2024. Oscillation and emergency braking system trials of the train set took place in September 2024 and the train has received the necessary approvals from the Research Design and Standards Organization or RDSO. Currently, the car body shells of 3 trains are being assembled at Titagarh Rail Systems Limited in their West Bengal facility. While the first train from Titagarh is expected to be delivered by the first week of December and the second train by December end, the third train's car body shells reached the Titagarh plant a few weeks ago. Thus, by December, 2 trains will arrive from Titagarh Rail Systems Limited and along with the train delivered from CRRC, BMRCL will have a total of 3 trains to run on the Yellow Line. On X, Titagarh thanked the Chinese ambassador to India for visiting Titagarh's coach manufacturing facility in Kolkata. The post said that this visit reflected the cooperation between Titagarh and CRRC in executing the Bangalore Metro project. According to a recent official release by BMRCL, it aims to secure clearance from the Commissioner of Metro Rail Safety by December end so that the Yellow Line can be commissioned in January 2025 with 3 train sets operating at a frequency of 30 minutes. The remaining 12 of the 15 trains will start arriving from March 2025 at the rate of 2 trains per month from Titagarh Rail Systems Limited. With the arrival of new trains, the frequency will be reduced progressively. All the 15 train sets will be available by August 2025. Thus, we can expect the Yellow Line to open in January 2025. But for the opening of the Yellow Line in January 2025, trains will have to operate at the 30-minute frequency. Would a 30-minute frequency really be practical? Here is a quick analysis. The capacity of each of the trains when they are completely full, having 8 passengers per square meter, is 2068 passengers per train. This is when the train is extremely crowded. Normally a train can carry anywhere between 1000 to 1500 passengers. However, for this study, we will consider that a train can carry a maximum of 2068 passengers. By January 2025, 3 trains will be available. If these 3 trains are operated at the frequency of 30 minutes, then in 1 hour the capacity of 3 trains will be 3 into 2068, which is 6204 passengers. This means that in an hour, the maximum number of passengers that can be carried is 6204 between one station and another. By April end 2025, 7 trains will be available. If all 7 trains are operated in an hour at a frequency of around 8 to 9 minutes, then the capacity of 7 trains will be 7 into 2068, which is 14,476 passengers in an hour. By July 2025, 13 of the 15 trains will be available. If 10 trains are operated every hour at a frequency of 6 minutes, then the maximum capacity of 10 trains would be 10 into 2068, which is 20,680 passengers in an hour. Another factor that we must understand is PHPDT. PHPDT stands for Peak Hour Peak Direction Traffic. It refers to the highest number of passengers who would be traveling through the busiest section of a route during peak hours. For example, on the Yellow Line, the maximum number of passengers will be traveling between Jayadeva and BTM layout and between BTM layout and Silport. The PHPDT in these sections is projected as 17,275 and 17,212 passengers respectively. Like this, we can plot the PHPDT between each of the 16 stations on a graph. The maximum capacity of 3 trains per hour is 6,204 passengers. This capacity is sufficient only between Kurnapanna Agrahara and Bomasandra. It will fail to manage the crowd at other stations. If this line is opened in April 2025 with 7 trains having a maximum capacity of 14,476 passengers, that can cater to almost the entire line except for the Ragigudda to Silport section. When 13 trains will be available by July 2025 and 10 trains are operated every hour, then the capacity of 20,680 passengers would be far higher than the projected PHPDT on all sections of the yellow line. Now coming back to the original question, is a 30-minute frequency with 3 trains practical? We can see that it fails to meet the demand of passengers. If the line is opened with 3 trains in January 2025, then we will see excessive overcrowding of passengers in the stations and trains. Thus, it doesn't seem practical or feasible. By July 2025, all trains will be available, but that will be a long time for us to wait for the line's opening. Rather, if the line is opened in the end of April 2025 with 7 trains operating at a frequency of 8.5 minutes, it will be able to cater to most of the sections of the line along with not being opened very late. Thus, according to the study, April 2025 seems like a practical opening date for the line. Of course, this is my personal opinion on this. What are your thoughts on the January 2025 opening with a 30-minute frequency? Share them in the comments. Now let's move on to the next update. The Pink Line is an under construction 21.25 km long line that will run between Kalena Agrahara in the south and Nagawara in the north. It will have 18 stations. This line is mostly underground between Dairy Circle in Nagawara for a length of 13.92 km, making it the longest underground section of Namma Metro. A major update regarding the line is that its tunneling works have been 100% completed, with the last out of 26 breakthroughs achieved by TBM Bhadra at the Nagawara Underground Metro Station on October 30, 2024. This is a major milestone for BMRCL as tunneling work, which started in July 2020, ended in October 2024 after 4 years and 3 months. 9 tunnel boring machines were used to construct the twin tunnels of a total length of 21 kilometers. BMRCL officials said that the maximum tunneling achieved in a single day was 27 meters by TBM Urja on April 25, 2022 between Cantonment and Pottery Town stations. The maximum tunneling done in a month was 308 meters by TBM Tunga between Kardu Gundanahalli and Nagawara in July 2024. On average, the TBMs bore 3 to 5 meters per day, which were operating 40 to 60 feet below the surface of the earth through difficult soil conditions of Bengaluru, consisting of a mix of soft soil, hard rocks, and boulders below densely populated areas with unknown wells, making tunneling a challenging task. The TBMs encountered several challenges. One TBM Rudra was delayed for 6 months when tunneling from Dairy Circle to Nagasandra, as it encountered a 33-foot pile of garbage left over from a former quarry site turned landfill. Another TBM Tunga had to temporarily stop tunneling due to the formation of a sinkhole on the road surface above. Sinkholes were formed on Brigade Road and in Pottery Town as well by other TBMs. The Pink Line faced major obstacles such as tender cancellations due to high bids, land acquisition challenges, labor shortage during the COVID-19 pandemic, and protests against land acquisition and alignment of the Pink Line. Despite these challenges, Phase 2 tunneling has been smoother than Phase 1. For instance, on the Green Line, it took 3 years and 9 months to complete tunneling on a 4-kilometer stretch. In comparison, on the Pink Line, it took only 6 more months to complete tunneling on the entire 14-kilometer stretch. Now with tunneling completed, we can expect the track works in the underground section to complete by October 2025. Systems work related to signaling and traction would take 6 to 8 more months. That is, by June 2026, signaling and traction would be completed. Another 4 months till October 2026 would be required to conduct trial runs. The track work between National Military School and Cantonment is complete except for a small portion near the National Military School. track laying is in progress between Dairy Circle and Langford Town, while work on the Pottery Town to Nagawara section is yet to begin. Regarding other works, the CBTC signalling system and platform screen doors and gates will be supplied and installed by Alstom. The construction of stations on the Pink Line is overall 90% complete, and the BEML prototype train will arrive in June 2025. After it receives its necessary approvals, BEML will supply 2 to 3 trains per month. Thus, considering the progress on the Pink Line, the elevated section of the line between Kalina Agrahara and Tavrekere is expected to open in December 2025, and the underground section of the line between Dairy Circle and Nagawara is expected to open in December 2026. The Blue Line is an under construction 58.19 km long line that will run between Central Silboard in the south and the Kempegoda International Airport terminals or KIA terminals in the north. It will have 30 metro stations. The recent update regarding the Blue Line is that 5 firms have submitted bids for the electrical and mechanical contract or E&M contract of the Blue Line. It involves E&M works at 28 stations except for the Airport City and KIA terminals metro stations, along with electrical and mechanical works at 2 traction substations and the cut-in cover section of the Blue Line near the Yelahanka Air Force Base. The scope of this contract involves system installation works such as low tension panels, low tension cables, lighting, hydraulics, fire safety systems, UPS, diesel generating sets, and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Bids for this contract were invited in September 2024, and the technical bids were opened in October 2024 to reveal the following 5 bidders. The bids have now been sent for technical bid evaluation, which can take a couple months to complete. When that is done, the financial bids of the technically qualified bidders will be opened to reveal who's the lowest bidder and most likely contractor. Earlier in October, bids for the electrical and mechanical contract for the Blue Line's Dodajala Depot and the for Purple Line's Chalagatta Depot were opened to reveal 4 bidders. The bids for this contract are also under technical evaluation. With the way construction is progressing on the Blue Line, we can expect it to open either in December 2026 or in early 2027. Now let's move on to the next updates which pertain to Phase 3 and Phase 3A of Namma Metro. This update is regarding Namma Metro's Phase 3, which consists of 2 lines. These include the ORR West Line or the Orange Line that will run between JP Nagar 4th Phase in the south and Kempapura in the north along the western side of the Outer Ring Road. This line will be 32.15 km long and will have 22 stations. The second corridor will run between Hosahalli and Kadbagere along Magadi Road. It will be 12.5 km long and have 9 stations. On 26 October 2024, BMRCL floated a tender to provide detailed design consultancy services for all structures of Namma Metro Phase 3, including elevated viaduct, double-decker structures, stations, entry-exit structures, loops and ramps for road flyovers, subways, footover bridges, and the multimodal integration structure. This tender was floated in 3 packages. Package 1 between JP Nagar 4th Phase and Nagar Bhavi BDA Complex. Package 2 between Sumannahalli Cross and Kempapura. And Package 3 between Hosahalli and Kadbagere. This tender comes after BMRCL conducted the geotechnical investigation on the stretch in 4 packages, as I had explained in my previous video. Along with detailed design consultancy services, BMRCL will seek consultancy report on the layout of depots, multimodal transport systems, and centralized inspection and verification automated center or CIVAC facilities near Pinya and Sumannahalli. When the Phase 3 lines were approved by the center, they claimed that these lines will be ready by 2029. This update pertains to Namma Metro's Phase 3A, which consists of 1 proposed metro corridor that will run between Sarjapur in the southeast and Hebbal in the north. It will be a 36.59 km long corridor with 28 stations. The detailed project report or DPR of the line was prepared by Raina Consulting SPA in 2022-23. It was submitted by BMRCL to the state government in July 2024. The DPR received approvals from Karnataka's Urban Development Department in October 2024, and in the first week of November, the Finance Department gave its approval. It is noteworthy that the Finance Department cleared the proposal in less than a month after the Urban Development Department gave its consent. The approval came quickly as there is no proposal to construct a double-decker flyover on this line. As per the protocol, the Phase 3A DPR will go back to the Urban Development Department, where Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar will review the DPR as the Bangalore Development Minister before the DPR is placed in the State Cabinet for their final approval. It will then be submitted to the Union Government, which will bear at least 20% of the cost of the line. Officials said that the DPR of this line will be placed before the State Cabinet by the end of this month, and the State Government will submit the DPR for the Centre's approval most likely by the end of the financial year 2024-25. This line will be significant as it will connect southern and northern Bengaluru, passing through key areas like Iblur, Kormangla, Shantinagar, Town Hall and Magadi Circle. It will have interchanges with the Silbot to Airport Blue Line, the Kalina Agrahara to Nagawara Pink Line, Challakatta to Whitefield Purple Line, and the JP Nagar 4th Phase to Kempapura Orange Line. This line is estimated to cost 28,405 crore rupees or 776.3 crore rupees per kilometer, making it the most expensive metro project of Bengaluru. Over 5,000 crore rupees of the project cost will be required for land acquisition alone. Since this line is in its initial stages now, not much can be said about its opening. However, assuming that the centre approves this line in 2026, we can expect some section of the line to open by 2031-32. Major investments will be made in Namma Metro for its Phase 3 and 3A network, while Phase 3 was approved at a cost of 15,611 crore rupees. Phase 3A is estimated to cost 28,405 crore rupees. Thus, these lines are likely to cost 44,000 crore rupees in total, of which 65 to 70% cost will have to be borne by the state government and BMRCL. To fund these cost-intensive projects, BMRCL is considering various value capture financing options, including additional floor area ratio. The floor area ratio or FAR is a ratio that defines the relationship between the total floor area of a building and the total land area of the plot. The total floor area could be spread across multiple floors. For example, if the permissible floor area ratio at a place is 2.0 and the area of the plot is 2000 square feet, then the total floor area of the building would be 2 into 2000, which is 4000 square feet. This means that the building can consist of 10 floors of 400 square feet each, 8 floors of 500 square feet each, 5 floors of 800 square feet each, 4 floors of 1000 square feet each, or any other combinations. According to government sources, the plan is to allow additional floor area ratio in the impact zone of Phase 3 and 3A. The impact zone will be between 300 and 500 meters on either side of the metro line. The additional floor area ratio will be charged, and this money will be used to fund the project. An estimate suggests that the BMRCL can generate at least 1,300 crore rupees through such value capture financing options like additional floor area ratio. Hebbal in the north of the city will become a major transportation hub as 3 metro lines will have a station at Hebbal. The Silbot to Airport under construction Blue Line as a part of Phase 2B, the JP Nagar 4th Phase to Kempapura approved Orange Line as a part of Phase 3, and the Sarjapur Hebbal proposed Phase 3A line all converge at Hebbal. Thus, Hebbal will get 3 stations within a 500 meter radius. There are 45 acres of land in Hebbal currently under the custody of the Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board or KIADB which Namma Metro badly wants for the construction of 3 metro stations and a depot. This depot will service the 3 metro lines which converge at Hebbal. The land will also serve for multimodal traffic integration and is the only large vacant land that is currently available at Hebbal. BMRCL wrote a letter to the Karnataka Department of Industries and Commerce in March 2024 for the land, but the state government is not willing to give the land to BMRCL, which is evident from the fact that the BMRCL is yet to receive a response to the letter. Actually, the Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board had notified a total of 55 acres and 13 guntas of land for a private company, Lakeview Tourism Corporation, about 2 decades ago in May 2004. However, the land acquisition process remained incomplete as the private entity defaulted on payment of compensation after making an initial deposit. BMRCL wants 45 acres out of 55 acres of this land, which technically belongs to the Karnataka Industrial Areas Development Board but is acquired for a private company. The reason why the state government is unwilling to give the land directly to BMRCL is because that would amount to breach of agreement. If they give the land, legal action could be taken and then the matter would be stuck in the court for 10 to 20 years, which would not serve the metro's purpose. Thus, the state government has advised the BMRCL officials to talk with the private company and directly negotiate with it to pay as per the market rates. From BMRCL's point of view, sources insisted that the private company had no right to stake claim over the land as the land acquisition process was still incomplete. Since the land technically belongs to the KIADB, BMRCL is committed to pay the price fixed by KIADB towards the payment of compensation to the landowners and acquire the 45-acre land. Because of this uncertainty, BMRCL is under severe pressure to relocate the stabling depot they had planned to build at Hebbal. Now we will talk about some general updates of Namma Metro. Bengaluru South MP Tejasvi Surya urged the chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Shri K.C. Venugopal, to recommend a performance audit of Namma Metro with the Comptroller and Auditor General or CAG to ensure the accountability and transparency in BMRCL's operations. In the letter, he explained the administrative and operational inefficiencies of BMRCL, giving examples of the delay in opening of the yellow and pink lines due to the shortage of coaches. He pointed to systemic inefficiencies within BMRCL that have grossly affected public funds, while the traffic congestion is only getting worse. He mentioned a few concerns with which the performance audit must explore. Number 1. Cost overruns due to project delays and the financial implications of such overruns on public funds. 2. Traffic congestion and productivity loss caused by the rise in private vehicles because of delayed metro operations. The environmental impact, including the adverse effects of increased vehicular emissions on air quality and climate. Detailed reasons for delays in various metro projects and the lessons learned to prevent future delays. Effectiveness of the measures taken to address these delays and whether these actions have yielded the desired results. And the status of achieving the 317 km metro coverage target as outlined in the Comprehensive Mobility Plan 2031, along with an assessment of the strategies currently employed to meet this goal. A performance audit is nothing new, as various metro projects in India have had performance audits. As I had explained in my previous video, Namma Metro fares are to be hiked soon. This potential increase, aimed at covering growing operational expenses, has sparked significant public opposition, with many residents voicing discontent. For 25 days between October 3 and October 28, the BMRCL's Fare Fixation Committee collected public feedback on the proposed fare revision. The Fare Fixation Committee has received over 100 responses. Some have opposed any possible fare hike, while others have acknowledged that the hike is necessary. Women, differently abled, and a few government employees have written asking for a fare discount. While the general public has requested for subsidized monthly passes, students have asked for special passes. Since the committee is still working on the fare structure, there is nothing concrete that BMRCL can say as of now. However, a fare hike of about 20% is expected on the line, raising the minimum and maximum prices of 10 rupees and 60 rupees to 15 rupees and 75 rupees respectively. This fare hike can be expected in early 2025. In a move to enhance passenger amenities at metro stations, BMRCL has introduced smart digital luggage lockers at 3 metro stations: the Nadaprabhu Kempegoda Metro Station Majestic, Chickpet and Bendigannahalli. The new digital lockers powered by SafeCloak can be used by passengers to store their bags without worrying about their belongings while they are traveling in the metro. Medium-sized luggage will be charged 70 rupees for 6 hours and 120 rupees for 12 hours, while a large-sized luggage would be charged 100 rupees for 6 hours and 160 rupees for 12 hours. The digitized lockers can be operated from one's mobile phones with one-time passwords after registering with name, email ID and mobile number. A code is used for locking and unlocking the lockers. An attendant will also be around to help with the operating lockers. The introduction of these metro lockers will enhance the travel experience for passengers, knowing that their belongings are safely stored. BMRCL is set to enhance the commuter experience and boost its financial health by introducing shops and cafes at 55 stations along Namma Metro's purple and green lines. BMRCL has invited tenders for retail outlets within the metro stations, which will include food and beverage kiosks, convenience stores, and personal care outlets. This initiative aims to improve the overall commuter experience while generating additional non-fare revenue for BMRCL. However, there are strict guidelines that have been set for permissible commercial activities to maintain a safe and family-friendly environment within metro premises. BMRCL has identified 220 vacant spaces across 55 of its stations. These spaces come in various sizes, allowing for a diverse range of businesses to set up their shops. Many eateries and retail stores were forced to shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to a considerable decline in the metro's non-fare revenue. However, with passenger numbers now returning to pre-pandemic levels, BMRCL is optimistic about renewed commercial interest. With this update, our video comes to an end. Hope you liked this update video. Please like and share this video, subscribe to my channel and share your comments on this video. Thank you very much.